Hey, what's going on, everyone? Swinging Bull here. Welcome to my earnings stream. We got the big boys reporting: Nvidia, Snowflake. There's a few others. I'll just show everyone real quick. So we got Nvidia, Snowflake. There's four big ones, and CrowdStrike is also reporting, and Hewlett Packard is reporting. A couple retailers are also reporting. Five Below, Urban Outfitters. But the four big ones: NVIDIA, Snowflake, CrowdStrike, and HP, Hewlett Packard. So we go back to the sticks here on TradingView. Welcome, everyone. Already got a few hundred people in here from Twitter and or X and YouTube. Got a nice little group in the Discord. So let's just go over this real quick. Snowflake reports at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. Their forecast EPS 0.27, forecast revenue 1.09 billion. They're trading just below their anchored VWAP. Anchored VWAP's a little less than 210 a share. And Nvidia, I'm showing reports at 4:20 p.m. Eastern. Their forecast EPS 0.98 and forecast revenue 45.91 billion. They're trading way up here above 180. So Snowflake closed the regular session at $200.49, up 3% on the day. Nvidia closed the regular session at $181.60 a share, kind of flat on the day. Nvidia did have some selling in pre-market, but retraced a good chunk of that. So 4:01 p.m. Eastern, so we got a few minutes to burn. Nvidia's trailing 12-month PE at 58. Of course, semiconductor stocks typically have a high PE. EPS $3.10. Free float 23 billion. Going into the earnings, of course, Nvidia is a nice and profitable company. Year-over-year numbers just looking great. They usually range every quarter between like 15 billion and 22 billion. Positive net income every quarter. So strong company, of course. Debt to asset only 33%. Snowflake, they have negative EPS, 319 million float, and Snowflake hasn't been profitable 5 years in a row. Negative net income, 5 quarters in a row, negative net income. So, but of course they got a huge following, and their software and IT services, and they apply artificial intelligence to solve business problems, build data applications, that kind of thing. Everyone knows about Snowflake. Okay, it's 4:03 p.m. Eastern, so we still got a few more minutes before we get the action. Again, Snowflake's going to report first, then followed by Nvidia. So let's see if I can get some other info here. Oh yeah, I wanted to see how much cash Nvidia had going into the earnings. Go to the balance sheet. So as of April 27th of this year, they had 53.6 billion in cash and equivalents. Amazing. What about Snowflake? How much cash they got? Snowflake has 3.9 billion. That was as of April 30th. Okay, for those that just joining, this is the Swinging Bull with PB Alerts. I do these earnings streams every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we come on here and get the EPS, the revenue, any guidance. We see what the stock price reaction is, look at some levels on some bigger time frames, some levels of interest, look at the quick peek at the income statements, balance sheets, stuff like that. 4:04 p.m., so about one more minute, we should have Snowflake. So get ready for the reaction. Analysts are forecasting Snow to deliver one of the highest revenue growth rates in 2025 among big data companies. Something to think about there. And any moment now, about 15 more seconds, and the data should be coming out. I think Snowflake, didn't they have a gap on the bigger time frame? Yeah, they do right here. Takes them to like 217 a share is the bottom of that gap. It goes up to like 220 and some change. All right, let me go back intraday. All right, getting a reaction. So far it's positive. Let's give it a second. Sometimes these things do a reverse Uno. Chassis on YouTube. Good to see you. Okay, so far it's positive. Let's again give it a minute. I'll go 1 minute chart here. Definitely got some buying coming in now. Wow, look at this imbalance on the order book. Let's see if it holds up. It's up 10%. It's looking like this is going to be the move. A lot of times when it reverses, it usually reverses pretty quickly if it's not the right move, but it's looking like a bullish move. We'll give it a few more moments because the current candlestick's flickering pretty good now. Still got some volatility coming in, so just give it a few more moments, but it's looking good so far for the bulls. Again, investors wanted to really see the revenue growth on this one for Snowflake. Nvidia is not until 4:20, so we got about 15 more minutes for that. So far, Snowflake's holding up pretty well. Okay, let's go over their earnings results. We got a little bit of time before Nvidia goes. Okay, so again, the EPS forecast was 0.27. They just reported 0.35. Beat EPS by 30%. Nice beat. Yeah, this is going to be a positive reaction, folks. It's making new highs in after hours. Working on the second green candle right now. Hasn't really pulled back much yet. Trading above $220. Looks like it tapped 224.91. So almost hit 225 a share. Let's see if it starts pulling back. But the revenue forecast was 1.09 billion. They reported 1.14 billion. So they did beat the revenue. That's what investors wanted to see. Look at the EPS and revenue, the year-over-year numbers. EPS is up 94% year-over-year. That's amazing. Revenue's up 32% year-over-year. And quarter-over-quarter numbers look great as well. EPS up 46% quarter-over-quarter. Revenue up 10% quarter-over-quarter. So far, it's looking like really good earnings from Snow. Let me see if I can get some commentary and some other info for everybody. We'll find out what time their earnings web call is with the upper management, and I'll get that information for everybody. Let me go ahead and post this double beat. Pretty solid numbers from Snowflake. We post this. Hopefully this comes out pretty clear. There we go. Okay, so Snow earnings, double beat. EPS came in at 35 compared to 0.27 estimate. Revenue came in 1.14 billion compared to 1.09 billion estimate. So double beat on Snowflake. And so far, the positive reaction is holding up, and it's continuing to make new after hours highs. Just tapped 226.86. We go to weekly chart. I just want to see what's going on. Okay, so we got some clear resistance here around 229. Clearly see that. That's actually recent, earlier this month. It's actually on August 1st. Tapped there, and it sold off a little bit. And back here we got 237 and some change from March of 2024. This is a weekly chart. Okay. So, you know, I'm looking at probably 230 is going to be R1, resistance 1. I'm just looking at the weekly chart. It's trading at 225 right now in after hours. So that's going to be resistance 1. If it can break 230, it's probably going to go after this high from 2024, which was around 237 and some change. Then, of course, you can go back a little further to 2022 when the stock was trading in the 300s here. But I'd say about 245 would be the next level. So resistance levels 230, 237, and 245. That's what I'm going to be watching. Okay, we'll go back intraday here. This is a 15-minute candle, nice and strong, looking like a god candle. Hasn't really pulled back much yet, so this thing is, buyer's still in charge here. It's a 5-minute candle. I just switched to turning red, but kind of more like doji looking. So we'll see if some more selling ends up coming in, but it's looking like a grats to the snow bulls. So if you had call options, especially, if you had call options and you were somewhat close to the money, those are obviously going to be in the money now. So you'll get paid pretty nice on that. Nice and strong delta if you got close to the money. Better yet, even in the money, if you bought them in the money, that's going to be, especially deep in the money, that's going to be like having synthetic shares. Kind of the Greeks kind of don't matter too much when you're deep in the money. Theta doesn't really affect as much. Delta's super high. So it's looking like a grats to the snow bulls. Is trading above 225 right now. Got a bunch of chatter going on in the Discord. Everyone's hanging out and talking. And we're up to almost 900 people tuning in. So welcome, everyone. I know we got a big following on X. If y'all are liking the content, give me a follow on X. I got the link on the bottom of my screen scrolling in the banner right now. But that's where I'm going to be putting all my updates to my account challenge. I started an account challenge a few weeks ago, and it's doing really well so far. So if anyone wants to follow that account challenge, give me a follow on X, and I usually do weekly updates on there. Okay, still waiting on NVIDIA. It's 4:11 p.m., so just got about 4 more minutes. Actually, 3 more minutes before the data on NVIDIA comes out. My handle at X is swingingbull_1. Here, I'll put it right here in the Discord. swingingbull_1. That's my X account. Appreciate you asking that, Michelle. Okay, this thing hasn't pulled back yet. It's working on a red 3-minute right now, but Duco's over here hanging out. Oh, thanks, Mad Maverick. One of our other coaches in the Discord just posted the handle for me. I appreciate that, brother. Still no pullback on snow yet. Let's look at the order book. Level 2 and after hours. Looks pretty balanced to me. It's a big order at 227. 3,411 order. Let's see if that gets chewed up or if it gets pulled. 3411 times 227 a share. Okay, $774,000 worth of orders sitting there. Not really much, if talking about NVIDIA here. Thanks, Michelle. Followed me on X. Appreciate that. KK on X. The challenge is I started a $2,500 account challenge, and it's specifically using the wheel strategy. So selling cash secured puts, collecting income while we're doing that to get into stock. And then once assigned, we sell as many rounds of covered calls as we can until our shares get called away, collecting income on that front as well. Even better, if the stock pays a dividend, we can get a third form of income. So that's what the account challenge is. And if you want to just join the Discord to follow the challenge more closely, there's a link in the description. You can join that. But yeah, you can easily just follow my X account, and I'll give the updates on there, and I post the closed trades on there and everything on X. So Whichever you want to do, X or Discord. All right, Snowflake still has not pulled back. This thing looks good. It's taking a little bit of a breather nonetheless. Let's see here, big fat 5 green minute candle, or a 5 minute green candle, excuse me. Yeah, Duco, wheel challenge. Let's go. Oh, Duco's already following me. Awesome. All right, so yeah, we should be getting Nvidia any moment now. Not getting any volatility yet, but look at Snowflake. Just made a new after hours high, 228.44. I do have the snow data on the bottom of my screen. While we're waiting for, yeah, let's check CRWD real quick. Okay, so snow, positive reaction. Congrats to the snow bull. CRWD. Okay, CRWD went the other way. Snow. CRWD, CrowdStrike, closed the regular session at $422.61 a share. Sitting here down in after hours, almost 7%. It came all the way down to 387. So keep your eye on that. Maybe we'll start seeing some higher lows, but need to wait for the bottom to come in. It's looking like 387 could be the bottom. We'll see. Let's make sure this is not a dead cat bounce or something. I'll put a fib on this since it printed a few green candles. I'm just going to go from, let's see here. I'll go from I'll go from the top of this red candle here. Okay, so 396 a share. That's kind of where the 25% retrace level is. We'd want that level to get taken out on CrowdStrike. If not, this could be a dead cat bounce and it may go lower, but it is working on the third green candle print right now, so it's on to something. Let's see though if more buyers consider this a discount and turns into a dip buy or something, right? Still waiting on Nvidia. Give that a few minutes here. Snow, no, all-time high for snow. Snow's been in the 300s. You probably see easier on the monthly chart, but I mean, snow's been in the 400s before, after it first got listed, and came all the way up to 429, came all the way back to 200, then all the way back up to 400. I mean, these are monthly candles, so just take that in consideration. But yeah, it's been up to 429 before, so which is good because it's getting a positive reaction here, which means we have some great levels on the upside. So there's definitely some upside potential with snow because it has been in the 300s and 400s before. It's trading at 226 right now off a positive reaction. That was for Ninja 888 on Discord. It's got a bit to go before it gets close to all-time high, but nonetheless, it's getting a nice, sweet positive reaction here. Hit 228.80. That's the after hours high right now. Got 15-minute chart pulled up. And again, the resistance levels I had on snow, there's a pretty important level, in my opinion, around 230. Then there's another level I pulled off the weekly time frame around 237. And then the next level up from that was around 245-ish, I believe. So those are my three resistance levels, at least on a short-term view, All right. Almost 1,000 people tuning in to this earnings stream. A little bit of a recap. CrowdStrike was selling off, trying to find a bottom. I'll go back to CrowdStrike just for a sec. CrowdStrike sold off, trying to find a bottom. Let's see if 387 is the bottom or not. We'll go on a bigger time weekly chart on this. So I was, as far as the after hours low was 387. So let me just keep that in mind. If the next level down, I'd probably put it towards the bottom of this nice green candle that printed here in towards the end of April. Look to be some demand there. That's right around I'd call it 365. So it's trading at 396 right now. So, but after hours low 387. Let's see if that ends up being the bottom. It's working on a 15-minute green candle print right now, so that's promising. It's trying to get above this 25% retrace, which is $3.96 a share. So keep your eye on CrowdStrike. If it starts printing higher lows, then I think this has a good chance at reclaiming back some of these selling levels that just happened. Still waiting on NVIDIA. It's 4:19 p.m. This should be any minute, any second now. Here we go. Okay, it's officially 4:20 p.m. Eastern. Their data should be out. Let me go back to Snow on the left. Still waiting on to see if NVIDIA is going to catch a bid or not. Snowflake caught a bid. Snowflake's up $25 a share right now, over 12%. Okay, here comes NVIDIA. It's starting to make a move. Duco says NVIDIA 200. I mean, that would be great for the bulls, right? Tammy says 1,000 people watching. You're like famous. Well, no, it's been a nice journey. I've been doing these earnings streams for over 6 months now. Maybe, I think I've been doing them all this whole year. And past month or so, there's been a lot of people coming in and joining the stream. So, all right, NVIDIA's getting a negative reaction, unfortunately. There was some buying going on, but it looks like that wasn't the real move. So NVIDIA doing the opposite of Snowflake. Let's see if this is going to hold down here. It's down a little over 3%. Anything can happen. Let's give it a second. This is a 5-minute chart. Let me go 1 minute. But if it does end up being a negative reaction, then it basically did the complete opposite of what Snowflake did. Let me see if I can get the data and see what happened. So I wonder if they messed with their guidance. And full transparency, I do not have a position in either one of these stocks. Okay, NVIDIA did have a double beat. I'm thinking they messed around with their guidance and probably lowered it, possibly. I mean, what else would explain this negative reaction? They did get a double beat. I'm going to post the NVIDIA data here, at least the EPS and revenue. Okay, here's NVIDIA. So they also had a double beat. Their EPS came in at $1.05, beating expectations of $1.01. Revenue came in at $46.7 billion. That should be a beat expectations of 46.1. Let me make sure that's not a typo. I'll put Snow's data back up just for a second. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to refresh the screen. NVIDIA trying to find the bottom here. It came all the way down to 171.86, almost $10 a share from where it closed the regular session at. Okay, all right, here we go. I got a nice graphic here for the video, so we'll go over this real quick. So obviously Snow's got a positive reaction, and it's holding up here around 225. Again, next level on Snow, I'd be looking at 230, and then 237 and 245. Those were all levels we pulled off the bigger time frames, okay? So you can put a little weight on those levels. Let's go over here to NVIDIA. Give me 1 second. Okay, so again, yeah, so there's a couple there's some typos on here from the previous data that I posted. So this is the real data. So EPS forecast was $1.01, and they reported $1.05, so they did beat that. Revenue came in at 46.7 billion. The forecast for that was 46.13 billion. So they did beat revenue, okay? But I'm thinking they messed with their guidance. It's the only thing I can think of that would explain the selling. And I just want to see what it was. Because maybe if they just, oh, wow, yeah. They reduced their Q3 guidance down. Actually, no, they raised Q3 guidance. Gross margins, and they approved a $6 billion in share buyback. Now, the guidance they increased was only for Q3, so I wonder if they reduced, the fiscal year guidance, perhaps. Shai Balor posted some great information for us. I appreciate you, brother. Let me put the guidance in the comments for NVIDIA. And I'm thinking this is probably going to be a dip buy on NVIDIA because they approved an additional $60 billion in the share buyback. They increased Q3 guidance. The estimate for Q3 guidance was 46 billion, and they just reported the guidance they're shooting for is 54 billion. So not quite sure what the selling is. I'll let you know when I find out. Let me check here. But that additional $60 billion in the stock buyback, that's good. That's big. Jensen does it again. All right, so they did double B. They raised Q3 guidance. However, it is selling a little bit. So not sure if that's maybe just some profit taking. Let's look at the daily chart on NVIDIA. It's obviously been rallying pretty hard since April. I remember selling cash secured puts on this when it was trading around $100 and was making some really good money on it. It's making like $500 to $1,000 every time I did it. So kind of rallied into the earnings, but maybe there's some profit taking going on there. But it does look like it's trying to form a bottom here. So let's get some levels on the video. I'm not gonna include this top wick here, just the top of the body of this red candle. Let's see. Okay, after hours low for NVIDIA, 171.86. It has started reclaiming some levels, so I think this is being taken as a little discount and a dip buy here. Let me see if I can get some commentary from the CEO. Okay, I know why NVIDIA sold off. I just got it. The data center revenue, they missed on that. The data center revenue is very important for NVIDIA, and they missed on that line item. So yes, they did get a double B, but data center revenue misses expectations. That's why I think the selling came in. I don't think it's like a super big deal about the data center revenue miss because they just missed it by a little bit. They didn't miss it by a lot. So I definitely think that, this is probably just going to be short-term pullback, I think, because even though they missed the data center revenue, overall, they beat revenue forecast by like $0.5 billion, like $500 million. They beat the overall revenue forecast. So missing the data center revenue, and again, it was just a small miss. Yeah, a little knee-jerk reaction, had some selling. Really only sold off like $10 a share, and now it's back up here in around 177. So that's only like $4 a share below from where it closed at. So I could see this. I could see this trending back up. It's about ready to test the golden fib, which is around 178 a share. This thing gets back over 178. I think it comes back to baseline and may even start trending the other way. We'll see, but yeah, that data center revenue is what caused the selling there. All right, it's almost 4:30. Let me see if I can get some commentary from the CEO. And then we'll find out when NVIDIA's earnings web call is. It's probably going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern, but we'll see. All right, let's find out when that earnings web call is, because I know a lot of people want to know that. Again, I don't think it's probably not till 5, but we'll see. Okay, let's take a look here. I'm just going to go to NVIDIA's investor relations. We'll get it straight from them. So we're just going to scroll down here, and right here, events, August 27th, which is today. And we got the link right here to the webcast. All right, so let me, and NVIDIA's retracing these levels. It's retracing all the selling, folks. So temporary negative reaction, but buyers are taking this as a discount. There's dip buying going on, and it's reclaiming. It just reclaimed the golden fib. So Now my confidence is getting pretty higher. It's getting higher that this is going to retrace back to baseline, and it might even trend up going into tomorrow. We'll see. We do got some nice buy orders coming in on the tape here. Got a few sell orders coming in every now and then, but it's looking like the buyers are up in their game here. And I honestly think that investors just maybe took this negative reaction about the data center revenue. That's just an overreaction. And there was some dip buying going on. So let's see if it can hold. Golden Fibs at 178 a share, around there. It's trading just below 179. So let's see if that level can hold. If that level can't hold, I definitely want to see 174 hold. That's back to the 25% retrace. Look at Snow, still up here in the 220s. Trading at 224 share, up 11%. So pull back a little bit, but not a lot. Look at this 25% retrace on the top side, brings it right to 222. Support level number 1, short-term looking view as far as after hours price action. S1's 222. Let's see if we can hold that. And then I'd probably put, so S1 222, S2, I'll put that around 212. That's the golden fib. I like that level. And Nvidia's holding up. There's still a lot of buy orders coming in. Got a little bit of red coming in too, though. So, but nice job retracing the majority of these levels. Let's see if it holds up. Support level number 1 on Nvidia. I'll put that at 174. In S2, I put that around 172. That's the after hours low. A little bit above that, but that's okay. All right, so Nvidia's earnings web call. I just put the link on the bottom of my screen for everybody. I'll leave it up there for a little bit, give everyone a time to screenshot that. And then also, oh yeah, we got to figure out what time it's going to be at. So I'll just click on this for everyone and get that. Okay, yep, exactly what I thought. 5 p.m. Eastern. So a little less than 30 minutes left before that. SKZ trades. Do I use standard deviation at all? I think that's what STDV. I think that's what you mean, standard deviation. No, I mean I use Bollinger Bands on the bigger time frames sometimes. So I like using the Bollinger Bands as far as standard, compared to standard deviation, but. No, I don't really mess with that. I mean, I basically trade off of volume and price action, maybe a little dash of RSI. I like the MACD crossovers as well. I don't really make it too complicated. Not saying using standard deviation is complicated. I'm just saying I don't like using like a ton of things. I try and keep my trading as simple as possible. Let me go back intraday on the video. Okay, so it started retracing some levels, and now it's pulling back a little bit now. I'm trading at 177 a share. So current support I'm looking at is going to be right around 174, and then obviously the next level down 172. For the bulls' sake, hopefully it doesn't need to come down there and test those. But there is a little bit of selling coming in right now. This is a 5-minute red candle it's working on. It's pulled back about 50% of this previous green candle. We definitely don't want it to see it come all the way down to the bottom of this previous green candle. That would not be good. That means the sellers are in charge again, and buyers did a good job buying the dip, but the sellers are back out. Let's see what happens. Again, on this 5-minute chart, I definitely, for the bulls, I don't want to see this retrace all the way back down to the bottom of this previous green candle. That would not be good for the bulls, because if that happens, it's probably going to make a new after hours low. But this level around 172, it's like high 171. It tapped 171.86. I'll call it 172. Obviously was demand. We got this nice green 5-minute print after that, and signaled a dip buy, but now there's more profit taking going on and some selling, so we got to be careful. We go 1-minute chart on that. All right, so again, the earnings web call with NVIDIA is at 5 p.m. Eastern. I got the link on the bottom of my screen. Let me find out when Snow is going to do theirs. Give me 1 second. No, I'll get that for everybody. Okay. This is a 1-minute chart on NVIDIA, by the way. It possibly might be trying to make a higher low here. And look at tap that fib level right to the T. It's right around 176 a share. So let's see if 176 a share ends up being a higher low. If that's the case, then I think it's going to go for another leg up as far as the retracement price action goes. Still needs to get back to baseline from where it closed the regular session at, which was 181.60 a share. All right, let's take a look. All right, we don't need this anymore. 5 p.m. Eastern, NVIDIA web call. Links on the bottom of my screen. For Snowflake, look at Snowflake pulling back a little bit. It's still sitting up here nice, though. Trading just below 220. Let's see. Yeah, it's trading actually just above 220. Pardon me. So for Snowflake, when's their earnings web call? Let's see. Latest news. Okay, latest presentation right here. Latest events. So that's today's date. Snowflake earnings conference call. So let me post this link for Snowflake. So the second link I'm posting in the comments, that's for Snowflake. And let's see what time theirs is. It's probably I wonder if it's at 5 p.m. Eastern as well. Yes. So their earnings web call is going down the exact same time NVIDIA's earnings web call is going down. So you won't be able to watch one of them at a time, and unless you can follow 2 different monitors and 2 audio devices. But Snowflake is doing their earnings web call at the same time as NVIDIA. Okay. Looks like we got our reactions. Snowflake was positive, beautiful positive reaction. It's pulling back a little bit right now, but that's okay. It's still sitting up here around 220 a share after closing the regular session at 200 a share, a little bit above 200. So it's still up $20 a share. I mean, Snowflake is, this is just healthy price action, pulling back a little bit, maybe a little bit of profit taking, but nice bullish reaction on Snow. Congrats to the Snow bulls. NVIDIA, initial negative reaction, I think because of the data center revenue miss, but overall they had a double beat, and they did beat overall revenue forecasts. In general, they did beat that, but that data center revenue miss kind of flustered investors a little bit. There was some dip buying going on. Did a great job of reclaiming a lot of these levels, but here we go again with some more selling. Sometimes with these earnings announcements, it's technical analysis can sometimes go out the window, but the news is out, so now we're reacting to price action. I would say technical analysis probably doesn't matter much, right when the data is announced. Technical analysis is not going to matter much. But now the data's out, investors got the info. Now we can kind of throw technical analysis back in a little bit because now we're reacting to price. All right, it's a little after, okay, it's almost 4:40 p.m. We got about 20 more minutes before the Snow earnings web call and the NVIDIA earnings web call. Just a quick summary. Snow had a double beat. NVIDIA had a double beat. Snow had a nice and positive reaction. Pulled back a little bit, but maybe this is going to be the higher low on this positive reaction, which is right exactly almost 220 a share. We'll see if 220 holds as a nice mental level on Snow. So that could be some support for the remainder of after hours. NVIDIA, initial negative reaction. There was some dip buyers. And now we're trying to see if NVIDIA forms a higher low. And that would be right around 175 a share. It would be nice for a higher low to print there. And if that prints, then look for it to make a higher high as far as the price action on this retracement goes. and then I think we're probably the bulls will be okay on this. I mean, it's only down like what, $5 a share, so it's nothing crazy. NVIDIA is going to be just fine. It's a great company. It's solid. So I wouldn't be too down and out if you were long on NVIDIA, especially if you had shares. You'll be okay with the shares. If you bought some call options, that might be a different story because, of course, there's going to be some IV crush going on. So the contracts aren't going to, they're going to, the premium on the contracts tomorrow morning when market opens, you're going to see that IV crush. But who knows? Maybe NVIDIA does form this higher low at 175, brings it back up to baseline, and maybe it's not going to be that bad. I've been doing a cheap and affordable way to trade earnings because the options that are close to the money. I mean, even 2 days away, you're paying over $500 for these options that are at the money. $600 to $700 for in the money at that 180 strike. But if you didn't want to outlay all that cash for that call option, you should have just done a call debit spread, because you can still get a triple digit return on a call debit spread, and you only have to put up a fraction of the money that these naked options cost. So, and I know calls, NVIDIA had a negative reaction. It's trying to retrace back up, but I'm just trying to show you how you could have reduced your risk and reduced your the amount of capital that you need to trade these strikes that are at the money or in the money. And a call debit spread would have been, you could have purchased the 180 call for $675. I'll just go off the bid prices, $675, and then you could have sold to open the 182.50 for $550. That would have been a credit. So 675 minus 550. So you could have participated in these strikes at the money, and instead of needing $600 or $700 with the call debit spread, you'd only need $125. Now, full disclosure, it does cap your upside. I know that, but hey, you only need the fraction of the amount of money compared to the naked call, and this would be a $2.50 wide cent spread. So the spread's worth $250, and if you only pay $125 for it, do the math. 250 minus 125. So you would have still been able to get 100% return on your money with the call debit spread. And maybe you could have opened a few of these spreads, and so just an example on how to reduce the capital needed if you want to participate in the strikes that are at the money or in the money, and not need all the capital it would need if you were just buying a naked option. So that's what you could have done, is a call debit spread. Same thing on the put side. If you were bearish, instead of paying $500 or $600 for these puts, you could have just done a put debit spread, and you could have got a triple digit return on that instead of forking out $500-$600 in capital. You only needed like $125 if you did one. Maybe do two of them, it would cost you $250. I mean, it's still a lot less money than you would need for these naked calls, right? So look at Snowflake. Looks like it's printing a higher low at 220. Look at that. That's beautiful. NVIDIA is starting to trade sideways a bit, so we'll see. Again, higher low on NVIDIA. I'd like to see 175 hold. It looks like it's about to get tested right now. Again, their earnings web calls for these two stocks are in about 15 minutes. And I put the links in the comments. The link for the NVIDIA web call is on the bottom of my screen. So let's go over how my $2,500 account challenge has been going. I'll just pull that straight from the alert channel I'm using on the Discord. Okay, so just a quick recap on this, because I know a lot of people are following this challenge here. And for those that don't know, it's starting with $2,500, and I'm only using the wheel strategy. And the goal is to beat the S&P annual average return by 3x or more. All right. The challenge has been going on for about 2.5 weeks now. We're 3 for 3 as far as trades go. So there were 3 trades that were closed, and all 3 were winners. I opened up 2 more trades on Monday to bring the total to 5 trades. We'll see how the 2 open trades do. But first 3 trades were solid winners. This is the update. And I'm sharing my Fidelity account on the live stream. This is just a screenshot, but when I do my coaching session every Monday, I do pull up the actual Fidelity account for the wheel challenge, and I'm showing everyone my account, full transparency, the positions and everything. This was the first trade. We shorted some puts on JetBlue and made some money there. But yeah, after week 1, the account's already up 3.2% in just 1 week. Already smashing my goal. Again, my goal is to get like a 30% plus return on the whole account in 12 months. So I'm trying to beat the S&P annual average by 3x or more. So 3.2% in 1 week. I'm well on my way. This was the second round of trades. I split the capital up over 2 tickers, kind of spread the risk out a little bit. And those trades ended up expiring worthless. And my fellow contract writers, that's a good thing. That means we got 100% on these. So this was the screenshot from Monday when those 2 trades expired worthless. And then Fidelity already had the money in my account from those expired trades. So this was as of Monday. I was sitting 100% cash on it. But this was the update for week 2. So week 2, with that second round of trades, now the $2,500 account is up 5.2% in only 2 weeks. All right. And this is the most recent set of trades. Again, I split it up between 2 tickers to spread my risk out a little bit. And these trades are already in the green. So this account challenge is off to the races. We kind of hit the ground running with this thing. And 5% return in 2 weeks. I mean, I'm not complaining about that. That put me at a 10% return in a month. So we'll see. I'm going to, keep sharing my account with everybody, going step by step. Every single trade I'm going to do exactly what I'm doing when I'm managing the trades, if I do need to manage them. And let's see how much we can grow this account together live, right? So it's been a lot of fun so far. We got our 3rd round of trades that are currently open and already performing quite nicely. They're already in the green. One of the trades expires September 5th. I kind of laddered them with the expiration. So this trade expires September 5th. The next one expires September 12th. So that way, every week we got some action going on, But yeah, just wanted to update everyone on that wheel account challenge. And if you're not part of the Discord, you can follow the updates on the wheel account challenge through my X account. And my handle is swingingbull_1 on X. So you just give me a follow on X and you'll see all the updates there. Or if you actually want to be involved with the trades as I alert them and enter them and exit them, opening trades, closing trades for profit, that kind of thing, and be right there in the trenches with me, you would have to join the Discord to be involved in that. But hey, if you're just curious about following the progress, just give me a follow on X, and I update that every single week over there. Yeah, other than that, that's all the time I got for today. I'm not going to personally stream the NVIDIA or the Snow earnings web call, but they do start in about 10 minutes. The links that'll take you right to the earnings web calls are in the comments. And yeah, my name's the Swinging Bull with PB Alerts. If you're looking for a new home and a new community, definitely check us out. We're very supportive. We got tons of education, live trades, live alerts, entry, exits, profit targets. Not financial advice. This is all for entertainment and learning purposes. But yeah, if you're looking for a new supportive community, definitely come check us out. again, Swinging Bull with PB Alerts. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. I hope everyone has a great night, and I'll see everyone in the next video. Cheers.